Coptic church. You see only cross on the right side, Coptic church, on the left side, a mosque. And that's give you a sign how the relation between the Muslim and the Christian here in Jordan. We are just refugees camp for the Palestinian 1967. We call it Jabal al-Hussein Palestinian camp. They live in this camp 120,000 Palestinian people. Now the citadel on the right side, Amman citadel. About Decapolis, it's mentioned in the Bible, Decapolis. It's a Greek name. Deca in the Greek language means 10, polis city. 10 cities established during the Greek and the Roman period. Philadelphia, one of them. By the way, sister and brothers, there are 7 of the 10 Decapolis cities located here in Jordan. 7. One in Israel, Bisan or Beit Shan, and the other 2 in Syria. But 7 of the 10 Decapolis cities located here in Jordan. Philadelphia, one of them.
So we are in Amman, Jordan, and Amman comes from the word Amun, which means son of Lot. So in the Bible, you hear about the Ammonites. King David struggled with fighting with the Ammonites a lot, but they were located here on the hills of Amman. This was built in 2nd century AD. And you see that this is the largest theater in Roman theater in Jordan. And if you notice all the other ones that we've seen, the top layer has been destroyed over time, but this one was built into a hill, so the entire theater is still here. And this theater is still used today for productions and concerts and things like that, right here in the middle of Amman, Jordan. City all around us.
Got into the cave, very happy to find a goat, but together with the goat in the same cave we found a couple of jars, and inside those jars were the famous Dead Sea Scrolls that we're going to talk in detail in Jerusalem. Wow. So the first cave is, you can't really see it, but it's at the cliff on the right hand side, one of the cave over there. But if you look around you, see that there are many caves up the mountain. Trust me, all the caves were searched. I'm sure. Okay? And we did find more scrolls in other caves. Qumran is the place where we are now, and this is, let's put Qumran on the map. That led to the excavation that we see here, which is a miniature excavation because
So we're at a place called Qumran. This is the place that in 1946 a shepherd was out here and he had a goat that was lost, and he threw a rock and heard a crash, and inside this cave he found jars that contained the Dead Sea Scrolls.
the picture of the cave will say a few words about the scrolls. That's why we're here.
And this is the Dead Sea right behind.
The Essenes were a sect of close to 800, 900 people that were found here. Some of the scrolls that were found were biblical scrolls. The most in-text scroll that was found over here was the scroll of Isaiah. We found the whole book of Isaiah on one scroll, preserved beautifully because of the low humidity here and the fact that they were put in jars and hidden inside caves. They were not exposed to the air. When you read the scroll of Isaiah that was found here and compare it to the book of Isaiah that we have in the Bible, identical word by word. We found also a few bits and pieces from the Bible. when you compare it to the Bible of today, the same. So this is a clear indication that the Bible that we read today was the same Bible that was used here. The Bible hasn't changed. It's the same Bible. And of course that will continue more when we'll be at the Shrine of the Book, when you'll have a chance to see the real stuff. So this is fact number one regarding the scrolls. The oldest Bible in the world was discovered over here.
When do they
אולי הקטעי הזה שראינו אותו מסתובב, אולי הוא גם שמע את הסיפור, רוצה שאשתו תהפך לנציב מלח, אז הוא...
איך הם הגיעו לשם אבל?
לא יודע.
זה לא ליד עין גדי, זה לא ליד...
ככה הוא מסתובב בשביל שאשתו תהפך.
I'm doing it, and they didn't got journals, and I think it's too much for me. You have to bring your own rope. מתחמם קצת בחוץ כאן עכשיו.
לא יודע.
לא, יחסית לבוקר, בבוקר היה לי קר.
תשמע, אנחנו גם... עד שהאוטובוס התחמם, אנחנו...
Out this window is the Dead Sea, and up here on top of this mountain is the fortress of Masada. I'm about to go up there. This, the Dead Sea is 1,400 feet below sea level. Top of this mountain will be right at sea level. So 1,400 foot mountain, Dead Sea will be at sea level up there.
Never been tried before with moisture.
No, sometimes when it's too windy, they blow the chemical stop operating. Here comes the sun.
Welcome to Masada National Park.
So guys, if you came here in ancient times, the only way to get up was to walk through this wide path you see winding up like a snake. You see a few people walking down. And because of the shape of this path, it got the name the snake path.
Oh, look at that.
So it's a nice climb, around 45 minutes to an hour plus, depends on your shape.
Oh, look at that.
And it was redone, of course. We added some rails and steps, but that was the only way to get up Masada. We will see later on the other side, which is the ramp. But imagine that if you came here in ancient time, you had to climb up through here, and of course, that's the idea of Masada, a fortress, a mountaintop that controls, very easy to get to. We will continue the rest on the That's the Dead Sea.
Depending on your...
The bridge of the Dead Sea finish over here. But there is nice green color to the right. This is because of the canal that we push water from here to the southern part. All of them are salty. All of them are salty because we push water from here down there.
우리가 조금만 늦으면 걸어 내려와야 돼요. 이 케이블카가 지금 올라가는 케이블카 마지막 케이블카가 다음 케이블카
You have
마지막이에요.
simultaneously two bridges in one cable car. Okay.
시간을 맞추는
하나이사 아우메hadla toda חשמל.
Masada is like a table mountain. And the first question a lot of people ask is, why would anybody come and live in the middle of nowhere? The answer is a name that you know by now. The answer is King Herod the Great. King Herod decided that he wanted to build himself a fortress over here. Why here? We have mixed ideas, different ideas. Some people say he built it as a place to escape to. Some say he built it as a resort site for himself when he came down to the Dead Sea. Some people say that Herod built it because back then there was a queen in Egypt. Her name was Cleopatra. She was married to Antonio Caesar, and Caesar was so in love that one day he gave her Caesarea as a present. So maybe Herod was worried about his southern border. Maybe that's why he built a fortress here. And some people say he built it for business, because if you build a fortress here, you control the convoys or the camels that are going cross back and forth. And folks, that was part of the silk and spices route. And along this route, they used to ship salt from the Dead Sea. That was a very precious stuff in ancient times. The Roman soldiers were getting paid by salarium, salt. Salt was equivalent to gold back then. Perfume from En-Gedi that we mentioned, bitumen, asphalt from the Dead Sea that was used in Egypt for the mummies industry, meaning precious, expensive stuff. And if you convoy text all the convoys that are going over here, you make a fortune. Again, we don't know the reason, but we do know that Herod built Masada somewhere around the year 20 BC. And you know by now that when Herod does something, he does it big time. So what was found over here, we found 2 palaces, storeroom to store food, system to collect water, swimming pools, bathhouse, you name it, it's all up here. Now when Herod built it, he built it for roughly a group of 100 soldiers that maintained the mountain, according to the number of buildings. At the year 66, with the Great Revolt, 66 AD, the Great Revolt of the Jews against the Romans started in the Galilee, swept all over the country. And at the year 67, a group of Jews known as the Zealots fled in Jerusalem, come down here, take over Masada from the Roman garrison that was here, if there was any Roman garrison here. And they lived here for 6 full years. And this is one of the things I like you to notice, that when we tour around, I'll try and show you the 2 different eras or 2 different necessities of both. For example, when Roman built it for about 100 people, there is enough residential area. But when the Zealots came here, we're talking of close to 1,000 people. So you need more space for them to live. So check out what they did. See the Israeli flag? It's wrapped around because of the wind probably. Behind it there are looks like a room, but it's basically a double stone wall that goes all around Masada. This double stone wall was built for protection reasons. But when the Zealots came here, they were worried about space. So what they did, they built a wall to the left, wall to the right, and you're looking at the family unit of the Zealots living in the space in between the walls. Another thing that you'll notice when we start walking up, you will see that some of the buildings have like a black line. The black line shows you that whatever below it is original, whatever above it is reconstruction. Whenever there is no red line, meaning all original. And this is the beauty of Masada. Whatever you see over here is 1 layer. Okay? 1 layer. 1 layer which is roughly 1st century. After Masada was destroyed by the Roman, nobody came and lived here. So we don't have another layers on layers on layers. We have 1 layer, and it's all roughly 2,000 years. I will talk about each and every topic.
So the black line shows everything that was original. And everything above the black line was reconstructed.
It's private palace. You have a look down here behind the rail. Behind the rail you see 2 steps that are going down. These steps actually part of this northern palace. Why did you choose to build it here? Because topographically speaking, this is the first place to get a shade in the summer. And today we are praying for the sun, but if you come here in July, August,
Yes.
you don't want to be out there. You're looking for the shade. Now this is one of the project of Herod's that built the palace actually hanging in the air. It's a cliff. And this whole complex is actually a massive supporting wall hanging on a cliff with a great view to the Dead Sea, and this is the place you get some breeze in the summer. On top of Masada we found 2 palaces that were built by King Herod.
This is the remains of the largest Roman camp before the siege.
Remember, you have to be at the place.
So this is the remains of a synagogue. All of this below the black line is authentic. There's a scribe in here I'm going to show you. So he's scribing the Torah. He sits in here all day and writes. This is the place where the Romans came from here, built a ramp up here and broke down the wall. Right here.
We've seen the Roman camp, we've seen the ramp, and one of the questions a lot of people ask is what's the story of Masada to the Roman? Why the Masada was such a big deal to the Roman that they brought over 10,000 soldiers and slaves and siege Masada for 3 years? What for? The answer is very simple. Guys, at year 70 AD, Jerusalem fell. The Roman came down here to find out the Jewish resistance. They destroyed Qumran, where we've been to. But they got here to Masada, they tried to take over Masada. They realized that Masada is a tough cookie because of the location. And that's why they decided to build a ramp. They built a camp around Masada. They realized that it wasn't enough, and there comes the phase where they're building the ramp. What I'm trying to tell you is that Masada became the last Jewish stronghold to survive. And the Roman was worried that if they don't knock down Masada, there is a chance that the whole revolt can restart again because of Masada. That's the only logic of spending so much energy on taking a place like this. They start building the ramp, battering ram, and we know the rest. Let's try and understand together what happened with the Zealots here. 970 people were living here. They saw the ramp being built. They saw the camp built around it. And they realized that when Romans start building the ramp, that it's a matter of time. So you can say, okay, why don't you fight back, or throwing stone, or pouring boiling olive oil, or whatever they were doing back then. Think for a second, who built the ramp? Slaves. Who were the slaves?
The Jews.
Jews. That were brought from the Galilee or brought from Jerusalem. The Roman put the Jewish slaves up front, and that was the dilemma of the zealots over here. You're not going to kill your own brother, even though you know that that's going to take you down. So in a way, the zealots realize it's a matter of time. And this is why Elazar ben Yair, the leader of the zealots, gathered them in the same synagogue we just came from. And over there he gave the famous speech saying, we were born as free men, and we prefer to die as free people. Meaning we don't want our wife to be prostitute to the Roman, we don't want to live life of slavery, and we prefer to die rather than to live life of slavery under the Roman. The Zealots also knew that when the Roman will get here eventually, they're going to take all their furious and the hate and what was accumulated in 3 years of siege. Guys, I'll put you one day in July, August, outdoor in the sun for 1 day, you will hate everybody. Okay, we're going out. 20 minutes, we're closing the site. Okay, we need another 5 minutes. Anyway, Elazar ben Yair gave the famous speech, and folks, the zealots that were here took a very different decision. I mean, I'm not gonna go into analyzing if it was the right thing to do. From their perspective, that was their way out. Meaning, we found a room around the corner where we found pieces of pottery shells with name, initial on top. And we believe that was the lottery room. The lottery room where they drew lots of who will kill who. And the system went as follows. Every head of the family had to kill his family. 10 were chosen by drawing lots to kill the rest. 1 was chosen to kill the 10. And technically, the last one committed suicide. Why it was done this way? Most likely because Judaism is against suicide. So technically speaking, only the last one committed suicide. And that was a major blow for the mighty Roman army, that after 3 years of siege, they are coming over here and they found 967 bodies lying around Masada. So ever since then, Masada became like a myth. We have a phrase in Hebrew that says, Masada will never fall again. Meaning, we will never get back to the same situation that your back is pressed to the wall and the only way out is to kill yourself. And that explains a lot about the mentality and the strong army and so on. In the good old days, we used to have here a lot of army ceremonies, especially elite unit in the army used to come here early in the morning, climb up, watch the sunrise and swear out for the country. Today, most of them are doing it by the Western Wall. Some still do it here. If you come here in the summertime, you see a lot of Jewish kids celebrating bar mitzvahs over here. And since we've been a few days together already, so let me share something personal with you. We had the privilege of being the 4th couple to get married over here at Masada.
Wow.
Over there at the synagogue where we came from.
Wow. That's cool. That's cute.
It was cool, yeah. It was March, so it was hot. Question if anybody has?